Alright, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Free Show. I'm your boy Cyrex, and this is episode 7. So, we're trying this in a different locale today. Well, really, it's the same place as I'm still at home, but I'm in my bedroom as opposed to out front on the porch. Reason being, I'm gonna try something a little new. Got full frontal with Samantha Bee, shout out, uh, in the background. So I'm gonna react. Alright, and we got just straight poor reception toward the GOP healthcare bill. Ain't that the truth?
Medicaid emerged as a key flashpoint Thursday. The Senate would cut all of Medicaid more deeply than the House and impose annual limits on spending. You sneaky motherfuckers. That's not Obamacare repeal. That's Johnson Care repeal. Please don't kill Medicaid. It's only 52 years old. It just joined Curbs and is learning to dance like nobody's watching. Most people like Medicaid, including
Oh, what a shame.
ask you to gut it by sending it to the states and capping its growth rate.
Medicaid, sending it back to the states, capping its growth rate.
And I think the worst part of what I'm seeing is like these GOP guys, they seriously think that they're doing the right thing. They seriously think that they got like some, like, you know, when somebody just talks about something and they just make themselves sound smarter than they are. Like, wow, what a bad one. And it's like it's hard to dispute what they're saying because it's like so vague. Like the things that they're saying are just so vague. Obviously there's no specificity, and you know those people, politicians, they just have a habit of talking pretty. And, people wanted to say that Trump was the antithesis of that because he just says what's on his mind, and he's ran a bit. Hasn't he, like, run a bunch of shit into the ground, though? Just saying, there's been, wild reports of things just not working out with him. And I know with business people, it's about the win, it's about the, the losses and wins. And I get that whole thing, Granted, Gary Vaynerchuk has a much better and certainly less harmful narrative than Donald Trump. But still, like, we keep coming back to the whole government being treated like a business kind of thing. And it's just not. These are people's lives. These are not numbers that you can just crunch. These aren't numbers you can just crunch, and they're not finite. None of this shit is finite, and I don't understand, like, what they don't fully get about that. Now, I'm not gonna go holier than thou, act like I'm the most enlightened human being on the face of the earth. I'm not. And I'm certainly not the most hip on when it comes to what exactly, the ins and outs of what the government is doing and what the government is doing to us at this time. In fact, some people have basically made labels for themselves based on beliefs that, go into stuff that I don't fully understand. To be quite honest, I'm just a person who's very liberal, aligns with many of the attributes of the Democratic Party. I'm for big government if the right things, but this, debatable. But let's proceed.
Medicaid covers, which is nothing new. Yeah, but pay for the operation on the other kidney, covering 20% of all Americans, 39% of children, 49% of all births, 64% of people living in nursing homes. Yeah. That's right. Medicaid's the reason.
Let me reiterate those stats. 20% of all Americans, 39% of children, 49% of births, and 64% of nursing home residents covered by Medicaid. That tremendous amount of people, and they want to they want to send it to the states and cap its growth. People are not going to stop getting old. We're certainly not going to stop having kids. Like, are you serious right now? They want $772 billion. They want to cut Medicaid by $772 billion. That is 772 with 9 zeros behind it. Are you fucking kidding me? Fucking nomenclature. Get the fuck out of here. Are you kidding me? And of course we got spinstress Kellyanne Conway covering niggas, as always. I could certainly say that. I mean, how much money do you need? Like, I wish I knew, like, okay, all this money you plan to cut, what the hell do you plan to do with it? And exactly what, I mean, if you got corporations giving you all this money, and then you gonna keep taking away this money from the people, it's gonna leave a lot of money unaccounted for. And again, you only need so much money. Like, what do you need more maintenance on your third mansion? Are you worried that the grandchild 19 generations down the line might have to go to a different hospital or some shit like that? Like, yeah, that wasn't funny, but I mean the magnitude of how fucking set these people are, how set these damn GOP, these politicians in general are. Honestly, I cannot comprehend just committing these blatant harmful acts toward American people when you're elected to help them. And of course, the people who put these people into office, they just swallow up all this rhetoric, but then they get affected by it. I've already seen enough posts talking about people regretting their decision to vote in Trump. I mean, we'll see what's going to happen with that. We don't know. But people fail to appreciate that literally every 2 years, we as voting Americans have the power to wipe out. We literally and figuratively. Well, I mean, okay, figuratively and more figuratively, I guess then. We have the ability to clean the house. Yeah, still not funny, but 435 seats in the American House of Representatives, in the U.S. House of Representatives. 2-year terms. And we have elections every 2 years. So, we're not exercising our right. Clearly, I mean, I certainly am, but I just I just don't understand. You would think when we okay, clearly there's a lot of muttering, a lot of stammering, I understand. But if we have the ability to wipe out the entire house, so to speak, you'd think they'd be more, they'd be more aware of what they need to do. And I understand this is more in the Senate. The Senate is, the ones that are proposing these awful bills. But even the Senate, we can wipe it out. Sure, it'd take 6 years, but we could replace all the senators there too. Literally, a third of the Senate is up for re-election each time. So that's essentially no different. I'd just like to know, though, what is it exactly that these politicians are saying to these people? Because, I mean, I certainly can't identify. I'm not voting in people that are, that obviously don't have any of my or my family's interests at heart. So I certainly can't speak to that. I'm not saying that I'm always right when it comes to my decisions politically. Because, I mean, well, I'll get to that in just a second. But, I mean, state Senate, state House, National Senate, like, they're supposed to be working for us. And we're kind of just letting them do whatever they want. Like, they seem to not acknowledge the fact that the Senate bill that's supposed to replace Obamacare is a piece of hot shit. All they want is just to repeal Obamacare. Like, I don't understand how you can be that petty either. It's like you bought something from somebody and you could have bought it somewhere else, but you bought it from them. And you could say it's a similar product than what you could have gotten at the other store, but it has a giant logo on it. Now, the product works amazingly, but you don't seem to want that giant logo on there. Maybe a couple features on there that you're not too crazy about. But the product as a whole is helping a lot of people. A lot of people. And so, yeah, this is kind of a far-fetched scenario, but still, the whole thing is, rather than just go buy this other product that would clearly serve you better from the other store, you want to insist that this product needs to be changed and that this store needs to change their product. Whoever's making this needs to change everything, rather than just minding your own damn business. And because they're not doing this for themselves. They're not doing this for their family. Their families are set. All these motherfuckers got all this private insurance. Yeah, fucking right. I would love to know who, like, I would love to know who that could stand to benefit from Obamacare is truly against it. I mean, we saw Mitt Romney crumble when he was trying to antagonize Obamacare because he did the same for We blasted that motherfucker. Because Obamacare is the same shit as Romney Care. So, I mean, maybe the GOP should just call it Romney Care. Maybe if they just call it Romney Care, then they'll be satisfied. He's still one of theirs. I doubt Trump will be satisfied because, to my knowledge, they don't seem to be exactly the best of friends or anything like that. But I'm just perplexed. To a certain degree, I don't even know why I'm perplexed at this point, because this is just what the government does. We have this two-party system, and doesn't seem to be very much we can do about it. I mean, people want to say they want to vote third party, that's another thing. I don't understand what possessed people in this election. You want to vote third party when we have guys like Obama and Romney, who the choice was pretty clear cut. Sure. But goddamn, niggas wanted to vote third party really just to be petty. I understand, yeah, if Gary Johnson and Jill Stein, if they align more towards your beliefs, but I mean, whatever, it's too late to complain about that one. We're a few months into Trump's term, so all we can do is either watch him learn or watch him crash and burn, and they'll do something about him if he crashes and burns. They really will. I truly believe that. I truly believe that we won't, there's only so far that we'll let ourselves sink. Now, I voted early. I went to vote with a good friend of mine as well as my mom. Now, when we were at the library at which we could vote early, they tend to have, somebody, of course, people there who are endorsing people, but we also had a politician there. We had Frank Artiles, who is a Republican with a good little Republican boy haircut. You know how it is. It's very evident that the majority of the Cuban population of Florida is quite Republican. And I would love to know what exactly the Republican Party has for them. But whatever, he was there, and so we got a little swept up in his whole spiel about how his opponent was trying to restrict where kids could go to school. Say they have some kind of like artistic talent or something like that, which of course that tugged right on my heartstrings. I didn't really exactly embrace my talents when I, right when I should have, but it's not too late for the kids. So we got swept up in that. Now, needless to say, we should have done some more research because, to be fair, Dwight Bullard's a teacher. So, should have not been stupid on that one. And then his whole scandal with him referring to a couple of his fellow senators. I don't quite remember if it was behind closed doors, if it was like it became publicized that he called them niggas, he called somebody a little bitch, and a couple very unprofessional things, and then he resigned. And so now we have the pleasure of having a special election later this year. Now, our primary is in about 25 days. Today's June 30th, and our primary is July 25th, I believe. Yeah. Y'all, if this election did not teach you the importance of a primary, I don't know what the fuck will. People wanted to complain. People on both sides wanted to complain. Hillary, 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 oh my god, fuck Hillary. Okay. Fuck Hillary, but where were you during the primary? You could have voted for Bernie Sanders. Hell, you could have voted for Martin O'Malley. But shit, like, we have we have a voice. I mean, it's not exactly a booming voice, but we as the people do get that say. And I mean, the electoral college, it's here to serve us. Yeah, Hillary won the popular vote, but the electoral college is to prevent the tyranny of the majority. To make people in smaller areas heard, to make people in less populated areas heard. And so people can say, yeah, oh, more people voted for it, but we knew what the system was. We knew what the system was, and we let somebody coast on a shit campaign. So the moral of that is primaries. Primaries are, it's the pre-qualifier. It's the qualifying match, basically, that gets you into the tournament. It's the average Joes versus Troop 452, I think it was. I don't quite remember, but it was in dodgeball. That was the primary. Well, actually, maybe it's a poor metaphor, but yeah, the Las Vegas Open, once we get down to just Globo Gym and Average Joe's, that's the election. That's the important thing. Yeah, we all want to, wait till, this isn't like sports. This is not like sports. These are our fucking lives, y'all. So again, primaries. And yeah, most primaries that I've noticed are closed. I could be wrong about that, but as far as I've seen, many primaries are closed. But both major parties, do have primaries pretty much every time. The only time they really don't is when, with the incumbent. Like during 2012, I don't really recall a 2012 Democratic primary. People were pretty set on Obama. I'm sure they tried to say, maybe this guy, but nah, it was Obama, come on. I don't really recall back in 2004 any Republican primary. People were pretty set on Bush. But when you have the opportunity to vote in a primary that corresponds to your party, that corresponds to something that you're gonna have to deal with, go vote, bro. Go fucking vote. Takes just a few minutes. And honestly, I think that this is something that this election showed us. I think that in 2020, the Democratic Party especially, because we certainly have some surgery to perform on our party, that primary is going to be something. I'm sure it's actually going to be something productive. But, I mean, reality show politics clearly showed that they work too. So let's see. I mean, that election in Georgia didn't go so great. Republican held seat for like 40 years. I believe they said it began with Newt Gingrich's first tenure. I'm not entirely sure, but also just realized we're nowhere near through the episode. My goodness. This might end up a little shorter than I expected. I never thought I would hear somebody say you don't bet against Mitch McConnell's ability to figure something out. I didn't know there were bets for Mitch McConnell. Well, okay, I guess there is. There's the hare and the tortoise, I mean, he's one of the title characters,
To come from the United States. We're always talking about dreamers for other people. I want the children that are growing up in the United States to be dreamers also.
So now we seem to be back to this whole Trump with the illegal immigrant. I don't understand, like, what is he in such a hurry to get illegal immigrants out for? You know, I don't see illegal immigrants racing to. I mean, I don't know personally of people who are undocumented, but I mean, we're not hearing every day about how they're racing to destroy something, how they're racing to mess up America or something like that. They seem to just be here trying to get money to get their papers. You know, how terrible is that? And remember that they are also doing jobs that Americans claim they don't want. I mean, a lot of the jobs that undocumented immigrants seem to be doing and are stereotyped for doing, that's shit I don't want to do. So what the fuck do I care? You know? I mean, granted, I'm kind of sort of taking on the role of, you know, trying to create jobs, but still, like, chill the fuck out. They're not out to take your office job. They're not out to, you know, can't if you have a landscaping company, can't you just hire them? And I just can't think of places that people want to work that undocumented immigrants are like known for usurping. The whole stereotype is that they take these menial jobs, right? They take these menial jobs, and, you know, granted, I think that's their duty to learn English when they get here, because, you know, the primary language, even if it's not the official language, the primary language is English. But I mean, they're just trying to work. They're trying to get money, just like the rest of us. If they're trying to show up to work and just work, I mean, all they seem to talk, all people who antagonize them seem to talk about is, oh, lift yourself up by the bootstraps and go work, go make some money, don't be on these government programs, welfare, all that. Okay, so when somebody wants to go work, you want to fucking still hate on them. Like, when are you satisfied? At a certain point, you just gotta shut the fuck up and do your work. And being that nobody seems to be in enough of a state to use, you know, government assistance, I would love to know what exactly is the benchmark for when it's cool from their perspective to use government assistance. You know, I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't know. I don't understand. I wish I did understand, but I just don't.
Helpful volunteers are ordering fake ice jackets off the internet and pitching in. Attention, assholes! There is a time and a place for playing scary dress up, and it is Halloween. What's the benefit of making people too scared to go to work or church?
A lot of people who may not be...
Are you fucking serious? People are dressing up as ICE agents to try and get all militant on undocumented immigrants. Trying to really raise the like, clearly fear is a fucking commodity. Get the fuck out of here. What? How in the fuck do you have, like, if stolen valor is that important to you, if people dressing up as soldiers, like with, you know, some of the bands and symbols and the such, I mean, of course, I respect the troops, but I mean, you can't be in a world where you throw a fit over that, but then you do this. Those two things, they just don't add up. Those two things, in terms of logic, are mutually exclusive. So when you get mad about stolen valor, but then you pull shit like this, shit that is not your responsibility, shit that you have nothing to do with, because another person who is not harming your life, who is not harming your business, who is not harming your wallet, who is not harming your family, is none of your fucking business. then you're just, I mean, if you really decide, like, feel like you feel some need to act like that, then you're just full of shit. Anybody who acts like that is just full of shit.
In November of 2012, he, Mitt Romney, had a crazy policy of self-deportation, which was maniacal.
Yes, the human equivalent of a glass of lukewarm tap water was called crazy and maniacal by this swollen scrotum full of angry hornets.
That part definitely speaks for itself. Self-deportation was, ugh. Passive aggressive, y'all. Oh, now B just made an amazing point and used this video in which a child was detailing his mom being taken away by ICE agents and how they allege that they want us to live a happy life, but really they just want to make things more dangerous for us and make us scared. And it's the truth. Like I said, just a few minutes ago, fear is a commodity to them. Fear is certainly a commodity to them. And they want to make, fellow members of our human race sound like they're the biggest threat to our country. Like, people actually voted with the whole securing the border in mind. Again, what the fuck are these undocumented immigrants doing to your fucking bumpkin ass? To your fucking towny ass? Like, what is wrong with you? Remember that by this country's laws since 1776, yes, you're here legally, but remember that the same shit that they're doing here, the Europeans did to the Native Americans, except the Europeans did it on a much more, insane scale. They were like, we like this, we're not sure if we like you. And that was the end for most of them. You remember, Trail of Tears, all that stuff. I mean, granted, all the stuff leading up to that too. All the, the 200 years leading up to that. I believe it was more, actually no, I think it was like 400 years, yeah.
75% of the people that the great men and women of ICE have taken into custody, 75% are criminals. The other 25% are not the valedictorians of the high school class.
That's more right. Nice way to say it. Oh,
I suppose that was a nice way to say it. Certainly better than being called an average spick, or an average pejorative term for anybody who's not Hispanic, but I mean, of course, they're targeting Mexicans. Well, no, they're targeting Muslims too. I don't exactly know what the pejorative is for Muslims. I once heard that it could potentially... Never mind.
Los Angeles Police Department says aggressive ICE enforcement tactics are also having a chilling effect on Latinos reporting crimes. Since the beginning of the year, reports of sexual assault by Latinos in LA dropped 25%. Domestic violence reports fell 10%.
Trump hasn't been responsible for such a big drop in sexual assault since he stopped running the Miss Universe pageant. If a sexual assault isn't reported, the perpetrator gets away with it, which means the one group enjoying a measurable benefit from Trump's immigration policy is Mexican rapists. Congratulations on the winning. We'll be right back.
So anybody who's a minority knows how it goes when talking to the police. It's not the most fun, It's not exactly something you want to do. But I mean, when there's domestic violence going on, when there's sexual assault going on, I mean, who the fuck else you gonna call? You need to report that shit. That shit needs to be reported. Those people need to be dealt with. So, when it's like, when the tables are getting turned to such a degree that people don't even want to report legitimate crime, you know, that's bad. That's really fucking bad. And it's like, again, I just don't understand this fucking joy that the Conways and the Huckabees and the Trumps and motherfuckers like that are just getting from trying to have this kind of power over undocumented immigrants, like trying to really subvert, and just overall subjugate. I gotta get this clip. This is a really good clip of Elizabeth Warren being interviewed by Samantha Bee. So check this out.
Trump lied to their faces. But the answer is, then point it out, hold him accountable, and offer him something better. You got a lot of political capital. Rolled up towel.
I don't know if I have any more clips that I want to use here, but hey, I mean, yo, my Massachusetts fans, I mean, make sure in 2018 you re-elect your girl Elizabeth Warren for the Senate. Just saying, she got your back. I mean, niggas like Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz, Mike Huckabee, them niggas don't have our backs. Fucking Rick Scott. Like, all these Republicans down here in Florida and just in the South in general, they do not have our backs. And to try and act like they do, nah. And if somebody can truly prove to me that they do, I mean, I'll concede. If I'm proven wrong by facts, I'll concede to the facts. But if you just want to bullshit me and act like I'm not right when I am right, nigga, get the fuck out of here. But it seems like the next portion is probably going to be never mind. Yeah, the episode's about over. So, looks like we're going to call it here. This is a nice little experiment, doing some reaction to Full Frontal with Samantha Bee. This of her show is episode 213. And this will be episode 7 of The Freak Show. Now, of course, we got my mixtape coming very soon, Free Rex. Now, we're talking about 6 tracks, and I'm going to reveal way more details in the coming few days, so look out for those. Of course, if you are not following me, you're going to want to get on, I mean, like I said, pretty much all the apps. I'm doing some updates here and there on Musical.ly. I'm jumping on Symbol. Of course, on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Of course, this is going to go on YouTube. Yeah, it's going to go, that is. SoundCloud. Might go back to putting some episodes on the SoundCloud too. 5 and 6 aren't necessarily there. But, we're out here. The Freak Show is out here. And we're going to do some more great episodes too. Lots of music coming, lots of episodes coming, lots of content overall coming. So just keep a lookout for it. You know where it is, Cyrix MC. And this, once again, is The Freak Show. Thanks again for listening and have a good day.